Thus, for the moment, I remain at loose ends, floating between moments without so much as a deck of cards with which to amuse myself. But that is not so terrible. I still have a window. There you go, look on the bright side. My parents believed that children should be seen and not heard. This applied more to myself than to my sister, for she was older and heir, not just a child. In those lessons which we shared, I was meant to wait my turn while she asked the questions. In public, I was meant to listen, not speak. And so I did. I could sit in a chair for hours, never moving, never speaking. Easy enough if there was a scene of interest unfolding in front of me. Easy also if my seat allowed me a glimpse of the outdoors. Sunlight on leaves, grass in the breeze. Somehow the sight of these sets my mind free to wandering. Me too. I could be a rabbit leaping across the hills. I could be an insect with a pretty red and black shield on my back. Or perhaps I could be the fairy of dawn, painting each blade of grass with its tiny drop of dew. It has been a long time since I last remembered my daydreams, but they are still out there, waiting for me. I stare out the window, lost in my mind, until at last darkness comes and I find sleep. I guess that's one way to spend a day. It is the sunlight again that rouses me in the morning. For those first moments I don't quite remember where I am, and roll up against the stone wall when trying to get out of bed. Then, of course, it all comes back to me. Princess Cassidy, the betrayal, Oscar. Where is he now? What is he doing? I'm sure he made it back to our room safely. He's perfectly capable when he tries to be. But then, no point in thinking about it. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do now at all. Nothing but wait. He'll come back. Have some faith in your bow. I may as well go back to sleep. How often do I get the chance to lie in with my regular occupation? But as I should have expected, it is not quite so easy to convince my body to return to slumber. Instead, I lie awake, staring up at the stone ceiling. I wonder how many blocks there are over my head. Alas, counting them, more than once just to be certain, still takes up very little of the day. Inactivity is a luxury that quickly becomes a burden. I can't blame Oscar for longing to take action. Well, if resting leaves me restless, the sensible course is to move and keep moving. I stand and begin to pace a pattern across the stones of my cell. Nothing too energetic, not when I don't have the luxury of being clean afterwards. Still, it wouldn't do to let my body fall completely out of practice. Not that I have often been called upon to use my skills in the heat of combat. A good companion is a noble's last line of defense, one that should remain in reserve. I have more experience in sparring or chasing off boisterous drunks than I do in resisting assassination. I will defend what needs defending, but I could never become a fighter for hire. I could never kill for coin. Well, that's a relief. That man who tried to murder Cassidy. What was his motivation? He called her an imposter. According to Dolores, there have been rumors about Cassidy being an imposter for many years, but everyone who's actually seen her knows them to be false. The impression she gave was that it was the commoners, kept at a great distance from the sheltered princess, who nurtured such beliefs, and that anyone of noble birth repeating those whispers would be seen as ignorant and ill-bred. If even the palace guards have doubts about her identity? No, that was not a doubt. Prince Callum was right in that much. That man was a fanatic who intended to die for his cause, whatever that cause may have been. If only we'd been able to question him. It's not my concern, except that it is if Oscar intends to involve himself in Guillenor's affairs. If Princess Cassidy is in danger, and Oscar is close to her, then he is in danger as well. I should have reminded him of that. But there's nothing I can do. I can't reach him. I can only wait and hope that he comes back. After a while, someone brings me food. Bread, a bit of fish, and cold stew. Compared absolutely, it is a better meal than we managed yesterday morning. Still, I would rather be there at the riverside than here, if I had the choice. But I don't. I can't choose anything. I never could. I've lived the life I was meant to, and what has it gotten me? Is this what my life was for? Ending up in a dungeon somewhere, forgotten and alone, for something I didn't even do? It's only been a day, Madeline. Come on, give Oscar some time. I slam my hand down on the bed in frustration. Then I wince and cradle my fingers. These mattresses are too thin for pounding. Oh, ouch. There, see? Good grief. You gotta learn some patience, woman. Cuckoo. Oscar! Hey, man. I rushed to the window. Hi! Pleased to see me? Pleased to see you in one piece. Did you get a message to Cassidy? Yes, but it turns out it wasn't totally needed. Oh? Like you said, I'm still an honored guest. That means I still have to attend the anniversary functions. Because otherwise it might look like an insult to send to wear. That's good. That shows they're still considering your reputation. So you spoke to her there? We couldn't talk much, of course. Everybody was there. There's no way the guards would let her go off with me now. They might if she pushed hard enough, but they'd probably come along as well. So what did she have to say? Whose side is she on? I told you. She's a nice girl. She had no idea. About what was going on, I mean. She thought it was Dolores in the dungeon, not you. It's a normal thing to think. It would have made more sense. So when she found out what her parents did to you, she wanted to stop the music and march right down here. I told her she should wait until I'd talked to you first. Is that alright? I want you free, but I thought you wouldn't want us to rush and make a mess. You were right, much as I'd like to be out of this cell. My confession and condemnation were public, and the charges attested by the king himself. Demanding my release would be an open challenge to royal authority. It needs something more subtle. Oh, Cassidy's first idea was even worse. She wanted to help you stage a jailbreak. Oh gosh. So I could be a criminal and a fugitive. Well, she doesn't have your experience. She only wants to do what's right. At least we know we can trust her, if nothing else. But I'm concerned about you. Both of you. Cassidy is too innocent for this sort of situation. And I? You're getting better. You're too nice. If you have to ask. Now you're getting better, man. I think Madeline should become more impressed with you, honestly. If you'd asked me last week, I would have said yes. Said yes to what? And now? I'll still say yes, but I'll hesitate longer. Oh, that he's innocent. He rolls his eyes at me. I would too, honestly, Madeline. Oscar, there's an assassin out there. Maybe more than one. Have you thought about that? Someone wanted Cassidy dead. If there's a plot, it may not be over. She could still be in danger. And as long as you're beside her, so are you. Oh. Do you or she have any idea what the king and his wisdom are doing about the assassin problem? No, I don't know. Whoops. Hold on. Sorry about that. Wrong button. I should have thought of that. I should have thought of that. I should have thought of it earlier, and I didn't. Don't feel bad. We've both had our share of unexpected events lately. Oscar just shakes his head, ignoring my reassuring smile. I'm supposed to be trying to plan for my future with Cassidy. And my smile goes lopsided. Oh, gosh, you two. Yes. Well, now you know. Be on your guard. I can't be out there, so you are my only eyes and ears. I need to track the assassin, and I also need to know what the royals are doing so I don't run into them. Exactly. Guess I'd better go then. Bye. He looks up at the wall, gives a faint sigh, and begins to climb. He didn't even say farewell. Aww. Sad music. Of course not. His mind is focused on the task at hand, protecting Princess Cassidy. Pretty sure the task at hand is getting you out of here. I can only hope he's up to it. Our princess in the tower needs all the help she can get. As for the woman in the dungeon, what she needs is patience. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you. I don't need a pair of impetuous young heroes rushing to my rescue. I'm not in any danger. They do make a pair, don't they? Oscar and Cassidy, paragons of goodness and virtue. They need me. Or is it the truth that I need? Dots. I need dots. I'm not used to being alone. Really alone. I've always belonged to someone. I was my mother's daughter and my sister's shadow. As pathetic as it was, I had a place and a purpose. And then, all these years, I have been Oscar's companion. He has been the center of my world. Everything that I do, it's all about him. I don't want to find another position. I want Oscar and I to be always together. I want things to go on like they were, even though I know that they can't. I'm just as much of a child as he is, aren't I? Yep. I need to plan for my future with eyes wide open and not cling to the familiar. Still, it would be a waste to throw away my connection with Oscar solely because it is familiar. He and Cassidy would need someone they could count on. They know they can trust me. It could be the best position I'll ever get. And if that means spending the rest of my life watching him and her together, then so be it. Aww. With that thought, I restore my sense of calm. Oh yes? I sit on my bed, and I wait, and time passes. And we're back to dots. Oh, footsteps. You, on your feet. What's going on? You're being summoned. What? Where? Why? How? Who? Summoned, he said, not released. Keep your mouth shut and come along. Don't give us any trouble. Us? Too many guards for me to have much chance of escape. I'll have to go along with them. I thought you didn't want to be a fugitive. My training has taught me that in a captive situation, biding your time and waiting for a better opportunity can be a mistake. You are already in a weaker position. Any time that you spend to strengthen yourself, your enemies can spend as well and more effectively. Surprise may be the only advantage available. If these men intended to kill me, it would be my obligation to escape at all cost. As things stand, though, with Princess Cassidy alerted to my plight, my only real risk of death should be if I were caught trying to escape. Let's hope that's true and not just a comforting illusion. Indeed. Oh, we're back in the presentation. Oh yeah, presentation hall. The guards escort me through the palace back to the presentation hall. I think I need some water for this. So quiet. What's going on? There's no one here but the guards and a steward. Oh no, not the steward, I hope. No. Here they come. A bubbling throng of gentility pours through the doors, laughing and gossiping merrily until they catch sight of me, the dangerous traitor. Then they clutch their pearls to their chests in fear, only to be shoved along by those behind them who haven't yet seen what the fuss is about. They weren't expecting to see me, so why have we been brought together? Oh, hello you two. Suddenly, Princess Cassidy steps to the fore, with Oscar close behind her. Lords and ladies of Quellenor, noble guests and my esteemed parents, I have an announcement to make. Is that the right voice? Hold on. Voice. Earlier this week, while I walked outside of my palace, I was attacked by an assassin. One of my own guards, or so I thought. There is no doubt in my mind that that man intended to murder me. If the sight of me caused consternation, this news stirs the whole loft. The princess frowns slightly and holds up her hands, demanding silence so that she can continue. My life was only saved by the valiant efforts of one Miss Valois of Osendaware. The crowds are still swirling as someone tries to make their way through. Oh no, it's probably her dad. Therefore, I hereby pardon her of all crimes, and bestow upon her the title of Honorable. Oh dear. Yep, it was him. And at last, King Friedrich fights his way to the central day. Gosh, it's been so long since I've done these voices. I apologize for how messed up everything's gonna be.
Lords and ladies, thank you for your attendance. You are dismissed.
Well, she's certainly done it now. Eek. Only the king's voice could have directed so many through such disruption. Friedrich, Paloma, Oscar, Cassidy, and myself are gathered in a small room of the palace, completely circumscribed by guards. Excuse me. I thought that said circumcised. Moving on. Outside, guests in various stages of fury or terror demand answers, only to be turned away. Oh boy. Inside, the king brings his own terror and fury to bear.
Thinking! You have undermined the order of the kingdom for your own whims!
I did no such thing! It was you who did that! Everything you said about Madeline was a lie, and you know it! But I didn't challenge your proclamations. I didn't reveal your lack of honor to our people. You say she's a traitor and a criminal. I say she's pardoned, so there.
You have created pandemonium by inventing the threat of assassination.
I didn't invent anything. It happened exactly like I said it did. He attacked me, Madeline and Callum saved me. You did already know that, didn't you, Your Majesty? From the look on his face, it would seem that he didn't. Yeah, all of a sudden they're like, ooh. There truly was an assassin? How did you not know that? Didn't they tell you? Oscar, didn't you say anything? No one asked me. Oh boy.
Is there any proof of this tale?
If you don't trust me, or Oscar, or Madeline, or my brother, you can go out and look at the body yourself. Unless someone has moved it by now. A traitor in the guard ranks. This is terrible.
We must send for Callum. The Orph girl should be with him.
Why would Dolores be with Callum?
She has been assigned as his valet.
Oh, I bet they're loving that. What? That's ridiculous. Why would you grant her such a position? She should have been in the dungeons, not Madeline.
Royal family owes a debt of honor, the nature of which is not for these ears.
More important than the truth? Yes, it is. Those sad words puncture Cassidy's anger. What's going on? I don't understand. I just wanted to set everything right. My darling girl, the world can never be set entirely right. The king dispatches a messenger to bring Callum and Dolores into this impromptu council. This is so weird.
Enemies against us. If this is true, do you know whose service this assassin was in?
All I know is that he called me an imposter and wanted me dead.
An imposter? Marionites, it must be.
Marionite? What does that mean? There are other possibilities.
And they are even worse. Either way, there is a worm in the ranks. Now that our hand has been tipped, it will be much harder to investigate this man's connections.
If you hadn't been so quick to force your bargains upon us, you could have uncovered the truth long ago. You never even asked me what happened out there. You didn't want to know. I had thought that at least you would speak to your own son and daughter, but you lied to them as well.
I don't appreciate your tone, young man. You have no idea how much is at stake.
If that's true, Father, then it's because you haven't told us. How much else have you been keeping from me? How about my brother, for one thing? A well-timed arrival. Callum and Dolores slip into the room. Dun-dun. The former page appears confused and displeased at finding herself in such company. Good grief, Dolores. Both, for now, choose to remain silent and watch the proceedings. Everything we have done has been for your safety. I understand that, but that isn't enough. Not compared to the harm that has been done. It is my solemn belief that no one in this room is trying to kill me. Not even Dolores. For all that she did, she never hurt me, and she protected me when I was in danger. I can't say that much for anyone else outside. So what good does it do to waste your resources causing trouble for any of us? Stop punishing my friends. There is something to be said for the wisdom of innocence.
What's done is done. We must play the cards as they are laid. We have a great deal of work to do here. We must retrieve the traitor's corpse and establish some semblance of control.
Uh-huh.
Prince Oscar, the Honorable Miss Valois, you are free to return to your quarters without guard.
All right. I like where this is going.
I understand. Come on, Maddie, let's go.
Free. I am free. Woohoo! Chapter 6D, The Fallout. I need some water after doing all those voices. Just changing back and forth like crazy. Our rooms. Oscar's and mine. And yet they are not. I'm sure they have not appreciably changed since I have been away, but the feel of them is different to my eyes. Just another set of guest quarters within the Palace of Gwellinor, like others I have seen. Not a sanctuary. Not anything that belongs to us. The courtesy is an illusion which can be wrenched away at any time. I look so pleased.
We did it! You're free, and the truth is out, and everything is going to be better now.
He pauses, searching my face for a reaction.
Aren't you happy?
I'm not going to scold him. The heck. Give that boy a hug. Saved us. Aww. Oh, that's so adorable. Oh. Without a word, I bury my face against Oscar's shoulder. Moments later, I feel his arms wrap around me. Well done, Madeline. He's grown so tall. Why am I trembling?
Shh, you're all right now.
No, I'm not all right. But just for this moment, it is nice to lean on Oscar and believe. This cannot continue. Sure it can. Continue. Peh. I pull away, brushing my hair back with my hands and take a deep breath. We're both tired. So many unexpected things have happened. We need time to take it all in. And after all that time in the dungeons, I really need a bath.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but...
Right. I think I'd better go. Bath time. Alone in the quietude of the bathing room, I submerge myself in the water. Or would that be bathing room? Hello? Beneath the surface, all that surrounds me is warm and soft and silent. But I can't stay down here forever. Even after coming up for air, though, my current situation is a vast improvement on what has come before. I am free and clean. I have an honorific to my name, even if it was one granted under highly unusual circumstances. At the least, it should help to mitigate any dishonor I face upon our return to Ascendaware. If we return to Ascendaware, I need to catch up on what's been happening here. There are so many factors to take into consideration, especially the assassins and the dangers they may present to both Cassidy and Oscar. I need to build a connection to the royal investigations, and find out what they uncover. The task in front of me is not small. However, just for the moment, I think I will sit here, among the waters, and be still.
Feeling better?
Yes, thank you.
Someone came by while you were busy. I didn't catch his name. Tall fellow, works for Prince Nazagi.
Nazagi's valet? I don't remember him clearly. I think we only met that first night at dinner. He was quite boisterous and a heavy drinker. Those two details may not be unrelated. What did he want?
Nothing much, really. He wanted to ask if his master could come and speak with me. I don't know why Nazagi didn't just come here himself. I suppose he prefers to be formal.
Or he wanted to check that you were actually here before bothering to show up at your door.
Why wouldn't I be here?
You have been sneaking out of here lately.
But he couldn't possibly know that. Could he?
I don't think the guards know that you've been coming and going, or they would have caused you more trouble. But I can't be sure. I haven't been here.
That's true. Maybe you shouldn't be here now either.
What do you mean?
The message came to me while you weren't anywhere to be seen. They may not even know you're here. This is a conference between men, between princes. There's no need for you to be involved. But if you are waiting somewhere out of sight...
then I might observe something unexpected. It's not exactly a complicated stratagem. It is, however, more devious than Oscar's usual choice of action on his own. After all, while there's no reason for me to be involved, there's no reason for me to spy on them either. It's an easy beginning to work my... Let's start that over, shall we? It's an easy beginning to working my way back into the web of intrigue in this palace. Fine, I'll do it. These are our quarters. It's easy enough to arrange a comfortable place to sit and watch the proceedings. So, dots. Sometime later, a gentle knock signals Prince Nazagi's request for admittance. Ugh, gosh. I haven't done you in forever.
Prince Oscar, a very good evening to you. And is your charming assistant in attendance?
What?
She's busy. Such a pity.
Why is Nazagi taking an interest in me? I've never even spoken to the man. Find this intriguing, mayhap? Interesting.
Of course, you must have a great deal for her to do now that she is no longer indisposed. I know I would find it most inconvenient if my own valet were out of commission at such a time.
What is he getting at? Nazagi is a hard man to read. His sinister reputation shades every word he speaks.
A shame about these events spoiling Princess Cassidy's anniversary, don't you think? They're not spoiled yet. Perhaps not. After all, a clever man can find opportunities where others see only disaster.
Watching Nazagi talk to Oscar is like watching a spider crawl over a child's face.
Oy.
I'm not sure what he's up to. I'm pretty sure it's nothing good. But if I jump in, someone's sure to get bitten.
There are always opportunities.
Oscar has no idea what Nazagi is getting at, so he's leading him along with empty statements, hoping to draw him out.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, it sounds like Nazagi may be doing the same thing. Hold fast, Oscar.
Of course, even with the aid of such a charming valet, a clever man doubtless has many tasks at hand. Crowds will be thinner now that so many have seen fit to leave the palace. Particularly in such confusing times, a man needs all the allies he can find, wouldn't you say? Perhaps. Should you have need of further support, please feel free to call upon me.
He's offering his services to Oscar as a subordinate?
If I had need of you. As it happens, I do not. The matter is well in hand. Your interest is noted. Perhaps we will speak again. I look forward to it. My best wishes in all your endeavors. Thank you.
With smooth strides, Prince Nazagi exits the room, never turning his back on Oscar. I wait a few moments before coming out of hiding, just in case Nazagi returns. Suddenly, Oscar bursts into laughter.
Did you see his face? What a backlicker!
He did seem rather unctuous.
If you rubbed him on the ground, he'd smear. He obviously thinks I've got a close connection to the princess here, and he's begging for scraps.
Or he's fishing for information.
Either way, he's right. I know things he doesn't know. Cassidy likes me better than him. If I jumped at the chance to have his help, he'd think I was weak and that he was wrong about me. Instead, he'll be sure that I'm his best route to impressing Cassidy. Chasing him off improves his respect for my power, right?
Possibly, but I don't know. Only one prince can win Cassidy's hand, so how could you work together? They're natural rivals.
Showing how well he can get along with his rivals makes him look more approachable?
I suppose. I feel that there was a purpose to Nazagi's visit, which we haven't entirely spotted. What was that he was saying about people leaving the palace?
Oh, I heard that while you were in the, earlier.
What, the bath?
Because of the fuss about the kidnapping and the assassin, a lot of guests are packing to go home. They're afraid the palace isn't safe. It's silly. No one's threatened them.
But if all of Gwelenor's forces can't keep their most precious princess safe, then how can anyone else feel protected? That's the problem with making these dangers public. The herd feels threatened, so they stampede for safety. Nice. It might not be a bad idea to consider leaving ourselves.
What? No.
The situation here could turn very sour. Angry, frightened people react unpredictably. If someone decides that you or I are to blame for all this, they'd be more likely to think that if we... They'd be more likely to think that if we ran off, we'd look guilty. True.
I'm not running away with my tail between my legs. We've done nothing wrong. And I won't abandon Cassidy while she is in danger. She's my friend.
Right. Friend. Oh, come on, Madeline. So, how's the romance going?
Well, things have been a bit distracted. We had more important issues to deal with.
Instead of wooing her, he was rescuing me. Ta-da! I am not more important. I was safe where I was.
Cassidy is not the sort of woman who can ignore an injustice for her own entertainment. Making her think that I'm shallow and selfish would not impress her.
You're right.
I do like hearing you say that.
Well, you'd hear it more if you...
What is it?
Nothing. It feels wrong somehow to tease him now. Oh. I suppose you'll have to get back to the romance tomorrow then. Fresh start.
I suppose so. There is something I could use your advice on.
What's that?
Should I tell her the truth?
What truth?
That I'm not in love with her.
Oh. I don't think anyone expects you to be madly in love. You've only known each other for a few days. Courtship is for both of you to learn about each other, to develop these feelings.
That's not what I meant.
Oh, Madeline.
I'm asking, should I tell her about you?
Oh. Definitely not. I can't make that choice. That's up to you if you want to tell her. And I think it would be fair to Cassidy. I can't answer that.
Why not?
I just can't. The mood is disrupted by a sharp rap on the door. Uh-oh.
Is that Nazagi again?
Before I can intervene, he reaches for the handle. Wait! For Rod? Oh god, I forgot about your nasally voice. You.
Good evening, Your Grace.
Be on your guard, both of you. Sleep lightly this night. What's going on? Do you know something about what's happening? Do you? Oscar opens his mouth to answer, and my elbow bumps hard into his. As I thought. This is far from over. With that, he leaves. The heck?
I can't tell if that was a warning or a threat. There's something up with him, isn't there? Callum and that Dolores girl both thought so.
Maybe.
We should...
Why was I doing Oscar's voice? We should speak to Cassidy tomorrow and hear what she thinks of her ducal cousin.
Not tonight?
Too unsettled. Too many people moving around if the guests are leaving.
Not all of them are.
No. Tomorrow the board will be more clear. And by tomorrow, the first investigation results should be available.